one of the things that you talk about, and I've looked at your website, one of the things that you say is really important is using stories to help captivate, I guess, your audience rather than just have your audience engage with you. So I'd love to explore that with you, Jack. Captivation versus engagement and the importance of storytelling.
Absolutely. If there's one moment when I'll say to people, I've been doing this for 25 years, do this one thing. Believe me, do this. It's stories. Using stories. They are the gold. And sometimes it's using an example. It's one of the best ways of illustrating. So do you mind if I share a quick?
Yeah. I would expect nothing else than a story.
No, right now. No, don't tell a story, please don't. But I was working. This was for a virtual pitch, working with a couple of lead creatives in an agency, and they had a big pitch to a migratory telcom. So if you arrive in the UK, you can't use your old SIM card. You have to get a migratory one. And the client said, the creative said, our biggest challenge here is that their advertising is really cheap. Yeah. And we want to move them up market. And actually we want to move, I'm not giving anything away here. We want to move the whole brand up market and start getting them to behave like O2 and Virgin and Vodafone, that sort of thing. So I said, well, we need a story, an analogy, something. And one of them instantly went, I've got it. When I was 10 years old, I lived in Scotland and I came down to London for the weekend to spend it with my uncle. And on Saturday, he was showing me the sights. And about midday, I was desperate for a pee. And so my uncle, we were walking past the Landmark Hotel at the time, one of the poshest hotels. And my uncle said, well, go in there, go and have a pee in the hotel. He said, I can't go in there. I'm not staying there. It'll be so embarrassing. He said, no, just go in there, behave as though you're staying at the hotel and just go up to someone and say, where's the toilets? And I'll show you the toilets. Job done. So he said, anyway, I went in, had my pee, came out, and I was so nervous. I was shaking. But I sort of learned a big life lesson. And then he said, then I'm going to turn it around to the client, tell that story, turn it around to the client and say, that's what we want to do to you. We want to metaphorically take you into the Landmark Hotel, start behaving as though you're supposed to be there. So start behaving like Vodafone and those big brands and go and have a pee at the Landmark Hotel. And anyway, a few weeks later, I phoned them up and see how it had gone. And they said, we had to do pitch again because they redrew the brief as a result of our first pitch. And they said, we knew we'd won as we went into the room for the pitch, because they said at boardroom level now, we talk about the need to have a pee at the Landmark Hotel. And so I think that's a great example of the power of stories. So when we use stories, they're the things that people remember. That's the gold that you will grab onto. And a year's hence, you will go, oh, yes, I remember you because of blah, 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 blah. And, so if you're going into a big presentation, actually the best presenters are all storytellers. They really are.
Watch episode